All right, guys, Leigh Calvert here with the Ocean Street Partners real estate team, looking after Southwest Washington State. Here is your week-by-week update. This time looking at May 4th through May 11th. So crossing into May proper now, different activity. And I think traditionally the information I'm about to give you should not come at any surprise unless you're thinking we're in a different market than what we're in, okay? So over the last 7 days, Clark County, right? Clark County's seen 242 new listings. That's a little less than what we saw last week, right? That's probably the only surprising thing. Normally, as you get into spring, you see more things come, and April's usually a good listing month, but so is May. We saw 145 closed sales last week, which is an improved number over the prior week of 127. The average price point in Clark County also improved. I say improved, it went up. So it depends on how you look at the market. But it went from 618,000 last week to 650,000 this last week. 618,000 the week prior, so the end of April, turning into May. The first full week of May on the stats, which includes the weekend, up to 650,000. Days on market decreased from 62 to 47. That's a little surprising, but kind of good to see. Really gives a better suggestion of what happened in April when you have that kind of a closing. So 62 days on average for things that closed over things that were moving from January, February, March. 47 as we got into April there. Now, this is a really important one. The sale price to the original list price percentage, county-wide, the average, 98.38%. Not bad. Not bad. I think there's a few people out there under the impression that the market is a lot more treacherous for sellers than the reality of it. I mean, you don't have 145 sales in 1 week happen and have this blowout, this pricing issues, or we're seeing prices decrease. It's just not coming through into fruition right now. Average average dollar per square foot for the county based off the last week's activity, $311 per square foot. Now, that doesn't carry per every single property. There's a lot of variations in that number when you talk of age, size, location, zip code, school district, all of that. But the average of the county of last week, 311. That's up from 301 the week prior. Now, just diving in, we're going to quickly just briefly go over the 5 key locations in the county. But generally, overall activity, we're liking what we're seeing. So Vancouver had 147 new listings last week, 92 sales, average sale price, $624,000. Ridgefield had 23 new listings, 16 sold in that same timeline. So the absorption rate was okay, not too bad. $678,000 as the average sale. Camas, also 23 new listings, 10 sales, $848,000 as the average sale price for that. Battleground, 22 new listings, 11 sold last week, $595,000 as the average sale price. And Washougal actually had no change in their inventory whatsoever. They had 9 new listings come on last week, and they had 9 closings last week at the same time as well. Average price point, now this is the big differentiator for Washougal. So the average price point was $760,000. The week prior when we did this, the average price point was over $1 million. Now, when you have numbers that are much smaller, a lot more concentrated, you can see a lot more variation versus looking at the county number, right? So to be fair, the county number did have a good shift, but 618 up to 650, still not a 300,000 gap from the prices that we saw in the Washougal average sale price. Anyway, If you have any questions, maybe you're curious about what all this means relative to your property or your search, where you're looking for, make sure to drop a question in the comments or head to oxfordstreetpartners.com and reach out directly. We'll love to have a chat. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.